Nobody's here yet, so just wait for a couple of people to join, and then we'll discuss this issue. Just a couple of seconds, guys. Um, hey guys, welcome to uh, Rishi's Manchester United warehouse. What the one person who's joined. Hi Tracy. You're the first person to join. We'll start the discussion and we'll wait for the 2 to 3 people to join so that we can capture the reactions of everybody, especially since this is a grave issue that the club is going through. And yeah, I mean, I'm back on the internet as well, right? So, first of all, can you guys hear me clearly? Tracy, if you can hear me clearly, you might uh, say yes in the chat, because a lot of the times I get a lot of disturbance from my fan. I just don't like sitting under the air conditioner for a very long period of time because of my blocked nose and everything. Um, yeah, just wait for a couple of seconds. Just ask somebody to be on stream. Okay, so we'll just start talking about the game first, and then um, what are the expectations from our team against Bayern Munich, especially um, coming in the near future. Um, so yeah, I mean, so nobody's okay. So hi, we have 2 viewers. So now we can really kick it off, right? Hi, the 2 viewers that have tuned in to this like 1 a.m. venting session at the warehouse. Glad that you're here. So yeah, so United played Brighton today, and unfortunately we lost the game 3-1, and it's pretty miserable defeat, to be fair. And it comes down to two factors, in my opinion. There's a lot of friction in the squad. Hello, hello, Utkarsh. Welcome to the warehouse. I believe you're the only viewer. So thank you very much, brother, for tuning in at around 1 a.m. to listen to me. Um, yeah, so two factors why we lost the game, in my opinion. Number one being the presence of sheer bottle jobs in our team, to put it lightly. Hmm. So you look at our game, and in my opinion, there were like 3 to 4 players that could keep their heads up high today. And out of those 3 or 4 players, two of them made their debut today. There was Hoyland and Reguilon, and I think Bruno mm, was not desperately terrible today, but he was not up there amongst our best players. But Bruno can certainly keep his head up high, just down to the fact that he put in some great passes at the end of the day, and that was pretty good from him. But apart from that, I think Ericsson was pretty decent. Uh, Simply down to the fact that he was not very decent throughout the game, though. He was very decent in the first half. He was putting in wonderful passes and shimmying about in the midfield, and I thought he played a certain commanding role um, at the middle of the park. So yeah, I mean Ericsson played a good game, in my opinion. So Ericsson had a good game, Oiland had a good game, Regulon had a good game, and Bruno sort of had a good game. And apart from that, um, the spark was not really there, in my opinion. A lot of people are calling Rashford very selfish, but if that Hoyland goal went in, I think Rashford would be selfless instead of selfish because it would be his assist. And that's a problem with the entire narrative today online. And I think these narratives form without any research, without any in-depth analysis, in my opinion. And we don't really have to care about these narratives because at the end of the day we know what kind of players they are. Rashford has certainly had an off day today, but he hit the bar, man, a time, and then his then his assist got disallowed. Made he shot various numbers of times, shots that went wide or got saved. But yeah, he was running at the defenders. I think Rashford was certainly not the reason why we lost the game. I think we lost the game because of very very poor defending, in my opinion. Um, the first goal, especially Scott McTominay, where are you? I mean, he has to live beyond his Scottish laurels at the end of the day. And we have a comment. I'll just okay. So Hoyland will become more assured in his ability as he plays through the season. Yes. Um, Also the fact that Utkarsh Hoyland, according to Eric Ten Hag, really does not is not completely fit to play 90 minutes. So there's a element of lethargy in his game. Not really lethargy, but a bit of rustiness in his game, and that's going to improve in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, mm, that'll come with time. I think Hoyland was very sharp at creating spaces for himself, like a potent striker, something that Martial has really not done at our club for a very long period of time. But yeah, what can you do, right? And Utkarsh, you can relate with me, bro. It's like a lot of the times Chelsea play well and they lose, and the entire narrative is very, very different. And what I fear the most is we might have another Tuchel situation. I think if Tuchel was still at the helm at Chelsea, I don't think it would be that bad, and we can have a very similar situation. To be very honest, um, given that our manager, some people say that he might be in danger, but I really don't think so. I think he is pretty self-assured. He's a decent manager, and we have to stick behind him at the end of the day. I think he's more than decent. I think he can do the job at United. It's just a rough patch for us, and that happens. So you say, how was McTominay according to you? I think if I were to rate him on 10, I think it was a 2 on 10 performance from McTominay. He was directly responsible for the first goal. He could not mark well back. There's a law of defending, right? Um, uh, of course, he has to stay. If Ten Hag gets sacked after this, then there's no point in supporting Man United, in my opinion. I mean, the man has done everything to deserve our trust up till now. He's and if we get like two or three defeats because of a culture change, I think the man. I think we can go behind these two or three defeats for the long term like gains that they'll give us. Now, if you've seen like Sir Alex's documentary, Utkarsh, I guess you have not, right? So United and Chelsea fans over here. So yeah, this could be a proper venting session. Um, but yeah, I mean Chelsea might overtake us tomorrow in the table, but that's okay, dude. I don't care. Um, yeah, coming to my documentary, the Sir Alex documentary, Never Given. Sir Alex goes on this entire like section where he talks about these horrendous results that Manchester United had to go through in uh, in his early days. Wait, I think Unique is going to join us. आता हूँ चलो मेरे को भी rant करना है. Okay, yeah. So Unique is also coming, so it'll be a proper good ranting session. Um, Give me like 2 seconds, guys. I'll just have to text the link to him. Don't drop off, please. You guys are like three viewers. Yeah. Hmm. So how was McTominay according to you? Right. Just give me 2 seconds. He's given me his number. Wait a second. Take your time. Okay. Comment on this Gandu Chutia formation. I think it was a very decent formation, brother. Um, he played a diamond. All managers do sometimes. अभी ये व्हाट्सएप का ये क्या यूआई हो गया है भाई. It's just horrendous. So wait a second. Just give me 2 seconds. Okay. Just give me 2 seconds. Okay. अबे यार ये नहीं चल रहा मेरा. I'll ask him to text me and then I can call him. Wait. I'll just ask him to text me. Okay. So I'll take comments till then. So yeah, Ten Hag will stay definitely. Like I said, Ten Hag has to stay in my opinion. He is a great manager. He has done everything possible to deserve our trust. Took our club literally from the ruts. Now, if you look at the last 8 or 9 games in the Ralph Rangnick era, we lost every single game. We drew once a while, but we were obliterated across the board. And I think Ten Hag stabled the ship. And coming to my point, right? The entire Sir Alex documentary. Wait, he has texted me. Wait. I'll just copy this. And coming to the entire Sir Alex documentary, the shambolic results at the end of the day. There were newspaper headlines claiming Fergie out, Fergie this, Fergie that, Fergie go back to Scotland. There were like abuses to his wife via the phone, to fuck off to Scotland and everything. But we know what he created, right? And if you're trying to change the culture at the club and it's completely infected, there have to be a certain amount of repercussions at the end of the day. And if these 2 or 3 defeats come at the expense of Unik, I can't see you, bro. Can you? You're not gonna turn on your camera or anything?
No, yeah, it's too late here. I told you. I'm not at home right
Uh,
now.
I can't hear you either. Can the
Just a
chat
minute.
hear,
Hello?
Unik? Uh, I can hear you very slightly though. I'll just connect my
Just a
headphones. Wait.
minute. Just a minute. I'll
Yeah.
do something. Yeah, I'll do
I
something.
just,
Just a minute.
I'll just connect my headphones. Give me a second, guys. This is like such unprofessional behavior, but this is the unique things that make this warehouse incredible, right? Uh Much better. Now I can hear stuff. So yeah. So those terrible abuses, those terrible results at the end of the day had some fruition, and I think we have to stick behind the manager, just down to the fact that there needs to be a system, and if the entire system is infected and wounded, there has to be a certain amount of care that has to be going from the manager's end. And भाई पिंपल होगा तो उसको बर्स्ट करने से पस तो फैलेगा, राइट? इट्स सिंपल. And this could be the pussy face at our club right now. And I'm still very positive about the fact that we are going to get top 5 this season, maybe even better, I think. So last year we came third. Against Brighton at home we lost. Against Spurs we drew away, and against Arsenal away we lost. So that was still 1 point from 3 games. And over here, even after the toxicity, I think not scoring a point is certainly disappointing. But we could have beaten Spurs. Um, if we were clinical enough, I think we could have beaten Brighton today as well. And uh, we got robbed against Arsenal. So the point is, um, things can change, right? Uh, Dhruv says, "टूट गया मैं तो." I mean, bro, nothing doing, bro. Chin up. We're always gonna support Man United, and the privilege that we have is that we have seen a lot of success so far, um, in our childhoods and maybe some of our adulthoods. But yeah, I mean, these are tough times, and I think we have to take lessons from Liverpool fans, Chelsea fans, Arsenal fans. They've seen like much worse days. Our club, at its worst, has finished seventh under Moyes, which is like a Europa League qualification if you consider the entire like debauchery around qualification right now. So that is like the worst that United has experienced. I don't think it will get worse than that, to be very honest. But yeah, I have great hope for my club. I see you're back, Unique. You can start talking, bro, when you feel like it. Um, hello. Uh, I think Unique is having some difficulties. This, yeah, I think he is having some difficulties. Uh, cool. Evan says hello. Uh, two striker in front. हाँ तो भाई सब बहुत जन 442 डायमंड खेलने का कोशिश करते हैं बाय द वे दैट इज समथिंग दैट हैज बीन लेड इन स्टोन इन फुटबॉल एंड आई थिंक टेन हैज द राइट टू एक्सपेरिमेंट अभी वो एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन अच्छा नहीं चला तो क्या करेगा राइट McTominay at the wings, right? Yeah, this was a big mistake. I think playing McTominay was not cool. McTominay was certainly one of our worst players. Like I said, a 2 on 3 on 10 would be a perfect rating for him from my end. But the thing with McTominay is he plays attacking midfield for Scotland, and you trust that, and you put him on the wings or at 10, and he comes up with like these shambolic performances where he cannot even track back. Now, like I was saying, the golden rule of defending states the fact that if you have four players attacking, you should have five defenders. It's always plus one, right? And if McTominay cannot do his defensive duties as a CDM, which he has been lauded for in the past, um, there's no point, right? McTominay is, at the end of the day, in my opinion, a mid-table club player. Um, Now, obviously, you can go to a club like Arsenal and flourish, no matter or Spurs for that matter. But I don't think he's Man United quality, and I think McTominay needs to go as soon as possible. Unique, bro,
Hello.
you can start talking, bro.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
I can. Can the
Okay.
chat hear you? Can you guys hear Unique? I just ask it on the chat. Unique, how was the game in your opinion?
I mean, I don't know how to feel about this honestly,
Mm.
because like from a perspective, it was one of the most demoralizing games for me this season because I we genuinely felt like we were hopeless.
At times, though, right? But not always.
Yeah, yeah, and in these moments, you try to like look at the flaws in the game and you try to like
Mm.
analyze maybe something's wrong, but honestly, you can't really say that something was obviously wrong in the game. We
Mm.
just got destroyed. That's the whole gist of it.
Yeah, that is true, though. Also, like, our players have certain bottle jobs, some of them, right? Now, you look at a lot of the players that played, like I said, Reguilon and Hoyland, they were on debut today. And apart from like the core Ten Hag signing players, that's Ericsson, in my opinion. And everybody else was like completely in shock, and they were forgetting like the basic fundamentals of football. And Brighton had these simple chances which they converted, right? And Marcus Rashford took on these chances where he had to like pass 4 or 5 defenders, and then he hit a shot, and then it got deflected, and then it hit the bar. Why can't we like play simple football for once? Is what I'm asking you
I
next.
mean, like you'll see that whenever we have a number 10, like
Yeah.
whoever we have in the number 10 rarely plays in the middle of the box once we get the ball into our wingers, right? You'll
Hmm.
see Rashford tried to cut it back 3 times. He got the, like, yeah, the goal was obviously disallowed, and I don't disagree with that. But you saw what he wanted to do, right? Wanted to take the
Hmm.
ball to the line and try to cut it back. Once
Hmm.
it goes to Hoyland, he luckily gets it in the, like, he scores a goal, which is obviously not legal. But other than behind him, there's literally no one. There's a hole behind him where the number 10 is supposed to be, I
Unique,
think.
I think your audio is a little muffled, bro.
Hello?
I think your audio is a little muffled. That's what the chat is saying.
Just a minute.
Yeah. You can fix it. Pimple ka pass, wow.
Yeah, yeah. Is it
Notification
okay
on.
now?
Hi, Daksh. Welcome to the warehouse. McTominay had 15 passes in 85 minutes, apparently. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Let's go. Ha, Unique. Bolo. Unique has dropped again. So I think he's having a little bit of difficulty. Um, but he'll be back soon, right? Um, mm, I'll just address a few chats till then. Rashford pass क्यों कर रहा था? Final passes to Hoyland would have changed the game. I think, yeah. So, the entire narrative around Rashford being a selfish player would have ended if that entire goal was not disallowed. And you have to move beyond these very minute moments that you watch, right? So these 15-second moments that you watch. um Unique is back. Unique, did you think Rashford's performance was selfish today? Wait, I'll have to add you to the stage, sorry.
Yeah.
Do you think Rashford's performance was selfish today?
I can't really say. I mean, he is not acting out of his, like previous behavior. There's nothing new that we see. I think why he seems selfish is because you expect Hoyland to do something and then you make a situation in your head. Maybe let's see. In place of Hoyland, for every single chance that you have, put Martial there. Do you want Rashi to pass in that situation? Of course not, right? You
Yeah.
want to have the best guy to score. You want the best guy to score, and maybe today there was a little bit of hype around Hoyland, and we want our guy to, score his first goal.
Hmm.
So maybe there's some sentiment around that. Other than that, I mean, he did assist a goal. Like, it got ruled out unlucky, right?
Yeah.
And he
That
made two more cutbacks. But again, when there's frustration, you sort of start nitpicking, and then every small percentage seems like a lot,
that's my entire point, right? The entire narrative could have been completely different if that assist like stood right. Rashford could have been another. This could have been another like Nottingham Forest esque selfless performance, right? But you have to move beyond these little moments, right, Unique? I think a lot of the hate that Manchester United are getting is uh, projected towards these little moments that happen towards in the entire game, and people like start talking about these little moments on their social platforms, and that like proliferates into like mass hatred. But the thing is that fundamentally, in my opinion, we did not play a very bad game. We were very um, not clinical, in my opinion. But initially, when we were also chatting on Discord, the first 17 or 18 minutes before Brighton scored, we were at awe at how good we were, right? So is it?
Yeah, yeah, it was honestly surprising. Like, we were discussing about their build up getting squashed in the midfield almost every single time. They get the ball through once and they score. That's how clinical Brighton was today. Honestly, I saw three chances, most probably four chances, and they scored like 3 times. And after that, Onana saved two shots once we were losing 3-0, right?
Hmm.
So
I.
like
Mhm.
it was like a battle of two extremes, like a team which is not creating as many chances but they're scoring every single one, every single time they get to our box, and a team who's who's like is making so many chances, who's getting the ball to the right people, who wants them to be clinical, and then we are missing those chances. We should have been 2-0 up before the 25th minute mark. It is it is not even funny how clear those chances were.
Hmm. Exactly. The first like chance that Hoyland missed, the slip, uh, and the Rashford chance, in my opinion, both of them were extremely. I think Unik has dropped again. He's having some internet difficulty, but that's fine. We'll keep on rolling. The two chances that stood out in the first 25 minutes, in my opinion, that we missed. But the thing is that we have to move beyond these setbacks, right? And how do we move beyond these setbacks, Unik? Do we see Mount Amrabat making the situation better?
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know why I keep like getting. I think
Hmm.
maybe there's an issue. Okay, but again, what was your question again? I'm lost in
I
these
see.
issues.
Does Mount and Amrabat fix a lot of issues when they come back?
Honestly, I don't see how, like, what they are supposed to fix. It's not like we're missing someone in the midfield who's gonna magically like hit Hoyland's head. I don't know. Like, do you think today midfield was the issue? I really don't think midfield was the issue today.
I think Scott McTominay could have like prevented the first goal. He could have
Yeah, but
tracked back.
yeah, I saw that discussion as like while I was solving my issues. I honestly think it was our game plan to not focus on the right wing that much. We talked about this in the
Hmm.
beginning of the game also. Like we were
Hmm.
almost non-existent. It was only Dallo who was making those runs, and maybe Casemiro found him all I think two times in the first 30 minutes. After that,
Hmm.
I didn't really see Dallo also getting in there because he started cutting in, trying to feed towards Rashford again. So we really were playing like we didn't have a right winger today. So I don't know what McTominay's role was today because he was playing a little on the right side. And even though we saw on the team sheet, right, Bruno playing on the right, but we didn't really see him play on the right. He was almost like he was left to his own, left on his own in the midfield. He was like being the extra man everywhere. So I think we were playing some sort of a 4-4-2 system. I don't know in
Hmm.
the beginning 30 minutes, but once we went 1-0 down, then I think Hoyland started coming back a lot. Like he started pulling the central defenders
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
lot
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
allow Rashi to run behind, and
Hmm.
hence he ran behind three times almost. So
Hmm.
today was like I think today Ten Hag tried to save the game as much as he could. I think he didn't doesn't like to play like this. And maybe even though we like how we played in the 30 minutes, I don't think that's how Ten Hag sees us playing.
That is what I would have exactly said next. This is not the Man United way, though. You cannot play Reguilon and Dallo against Brighton, in my opinion. That is one big mistake. No matter how good Reguilon was, um, I think if all the defenders were fit, our fullbacks should have been Shaw and Wan Bissaka. Unik, would you agree? Um,
Yeah, I think he played Dallo like even before the game when the lineups came out and we were just talking. I think like we knew what the game plan was gonna be. We were talking about there being two attacking fullbacks and a bully in the front. So we knew he wanted to put in crosses. But I
yeah,
think Dallo just didn't like we just didn't
didn't
play
turn
off
up.
the right as much as he would like as much as Ten Hag wanted to, I think. Because if you're playing Dallo, if Ten Hag's playing Dallo, it's obvious he needs deliveries, he needs crosses. So me, that's why he's playing Dallo. And for once, Anthony is not playing, so he doesn't need a defensive support. So he goes like, okay, today's the chance to Dallo to impress. I'm anyway not going to focus on the right wing as much. So maybe he gets in crosses. He has more
Hmm.
space to attack now since there's no right winger today. So he was I think he hoped Dallo could do as well as and I think Regulon played very well today. Like
I think Reguilon was a breath of fresh air today.
like you need to understand this is a guy who doesn't know what's going on in the team, right?
Hmm.
So So this Regulon versus other teammates is the drop-in mentality that we have in the club. Like
That
you
is what
see
I'm
a
saying,
new
right?
guy who doesn't know what the hell is going on around the club, who knows not, I think he'll know maybe one or two teammates who he sees
Hmm,
now and then. But
hmm,
that's a guy who is not been pulled down by whatever is going on behind the scenes. And you see how
hmm.
he plays. Now imagine 11 guys playing like that.
So my
So
entire point at the beginning was this only: ki the three or four good players that we have had today are either Eric Ten Hag signings or they're making their debuts. The simple core crux players that we have inherited, that Eric Ten Hag has inherited, have simply led him down. Is my entire point, right? You look at, I'd say even Licha has let him down this season. I don't know like what is wrong with him. He's getting rolled over by attacking players from like other teams. Have you observed this? I don't see that
yeah,
bite in Licha anymore.
yeah, and maybe the rules have to do something with this, I think, because
Hmm,
as much as we like to like as much as people troll us for like pulling the blame onto ourselves, but I think people like Licha and a couple of other aggressive defenders have led the change towards some of the refereeing rules that we have nowadays. You can't ask for cards, and like you can't misbehave with the referee. The referee is like this guy who nobody touches, and whatever he says goes, right? So like this seclusion of the refereeing and the wear from the people that are involved in the game, managers, players. I don't know why the system has done this. Like when
hmm,
you look at the big picture, wear and referees are now even more protected than they were last year, even though they made more mistakes.
hmm. Yeah.
Last year was a bottle job for every single referee. Like every single referee has one bad game. Every single wear assistant has one bad game last year. And instead of like retrospectively fixing these issues, they have
Hmm.
simply just isolated themselves. They are like, no one's talking to us anymore. If you
Yeah.
talk to us, we are giving you a yellow card. So obviously the defenders are gonna start like being scared of these things. They don't want to be as aggressive as they were before. Maybe he starts a conflict. Like we had so many conflicts last year. Anthony
Hmm.
used to get into fights, Licha used to get into fights, and maybe Tenag is like, guys, let's not get easy yellow cards, right? Somebody gets into a fight, and then we have people like Bruno and Anthony who can be a little whiny. So maybe they
Hmm.
ask for a card, and the bad guy tells the referee to look at some freaking video clip 3 seconds, and we get red carded, right? So we have been targeted last year, and maybe this is something that almost now you'll see a lot of defenders have calmed down. The positional teams are now playing better than they were last year suddenly. How? Because the ones that were physical are now being pulled back by these referees, and you see yellow cards flying left and right. You don't see teams like battling for the ball. It's a lot of possession play. Like it's very positional now. You'll see so many teams have gone positional. You don't have the dice team. Even dice is not dicing anymore.
Yeah. The thing
So
is, though,
they,
this marks the end of the Yap Stams, the Vidiches, and the Leechers, in your opinion. The traditional Manchester United bitey centre half is not possible in the modern game, you say.
it's of course not possible because that center half is very vocal. He is very
Hmm.
physical, and if
Hmm.
you have those two attributes, you're getting one yellow card for each attribute, and you're getting sent off every time you come on the field.
Hmm.
So I
That makes
think the
sense.
captain and the keeper are the only people that are allowed to shout nowadays. I think anyone else shouts and the referee is like, "Oh, you're asking for a card. Here you go. You take it yourself and take it home now." So I don't know what the PG like. What are these referees doing? And like, it's so easy to solve, right? There's freaking cricket who technically no one watches when you compare it to football, and
Hmm.
they like everyone can hear these conversations. They are broadcasted. You have you have
वो बैट
the
का एज का भी
commentators
तो
that
माइंड है.
know. Yeah, and commentators know exactly as much as the wear guy does, right?
Yeah. Now the
And
stadiums
so
also know ना, वो पूरा broadcast होता है, the
yeah, and
entire
and teams can
conversation.
freely challenge decisions when they feel like something should be checked,
Yep.
right? And I think referees are like the organization is scared that teams will start misusing, but you have to give them the power first to understand how to teach them to control it, right? You can't be scared of something,
Hmm.
someone like abusing the system, and then you don't even uh, give that system a chance. Like at least broadcasting is such an easy thing to do. I don't know why they're not doing it. Just broadcast the freaking conversation, right?
या सो ध्रुव हैज अ कमेंट फॉर यू उनिक भाई लीचा इश्यू पे बिल्कुल सही बोले बट स्टिल देयर इज अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन प्री कैराबाओ कप लीचा एंड पोस्ट दैट I would disagree with you, Dhruv. He was pretty good after the Carabao Cup, in my opinion. The thing is that he was getting overplayed a lot, and that really caused a lot of lethargy in his game in certain instances. But I don't think his game dipped to such an extent last year. Would you agree to that, Unik?
Yeah, I I think he didn't really play after that. He got that big injury and then he comes
Yeah,
on
yeah.
in the end of the season, right? So maybe he's a bit rusty, and we expect him to get a bit rusty because teams get better throughout the season. So we were facing the same team, but they were like on top of their game, but our defender had like been out for weeks and he's coming back in, and he's already the pivotal guy in the system, so everyone's looking at him. So obviously you're gonna find issues from there on. But
Hmm.
even after the break, right? Even against, even in the friendlies, let's say he was not as bad. We saw what he could do. He freaking injured two players in the friendlies, but those he did that because they were friendlies, and then we say like, oh, look at how aggressive he is. Once the league starts, then he calms down immediately.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Makes sense. Utkarsh has a couple of comments. First of all, in League One, they tried to do this to show accountability. I think he's talking about the entire like broadcasting of communication between the referees and VAR. Um,
I
Premier
mean,
League में तो नहीं है.
they can even release the transcripts, right? Okay, you don't want us to like you don't want the fans to get wild, so you don't want to broadcast this live to the stadium. So you can at least release the transcripts of the conversations after the game is over, right?
भाई but wild क्यों होंगे? तू फॉर एग्जाम्पल एग्जाम दे रहा है, ठीक है, तूने आर डी शर्मा का एग्जाम के पेपर में आर डी शर्मा का एग्जाम्पल आया है, ठीक है, तूने गलत कर दिया, ठीक है, तू उसको कंटेस्ट किया, तेरा टीचर खुद बुक खोल के दिखा रहा है कि ऐसे सोल्यूशन है, तुमने गलत किया, तो इसमें मतलब क्या मतलब
I
तुम
mean,
क्या करोगे इस सिचुएशन में?
see again, it becomes like this, like overprotectiveness factor comes in, right? They are scared of the one time this happens, right? The one time where the conversation between the referee and the VAR assistant is not acceptable. He's missing an obvious onside, and this is the and then what? How the coincidence works out? This turns out to be the final of some shit cup that some team wants to win, and those guys go into the VAR like office after the game and they start like destroying shit, and like this is the one thing that the referees association is scared of, and
Hmm.
for this one single incident they are not going to do this.
Hmm.
They
That
are
makes
ready
sense.
to, because obviously it's not on them, right? The burden is not on them to carry. It is the teams who are going to lose games, it is the team who are going to lose sponsorships, money, and it's obviously not what they care about. I think the clubs have to come together and push for some sort of resolution. At least there should be a system between the clubs and the referees to overturn these decisions. If there is such an obvious mistake, maybe let's say there are three big mistakes in a game, why can't we just replay that game? I don't understand.
Hmm. Actually, um, so Dhruv again has a comment. Varane's absence is being properly felt. He used to lead our defense out there. Maybe his absence is also affecting Leach's performance. I don't think so though. Unik, do you think Varane would have changed this game? I don't think so.
Varan is not really a guy who builds up for us. He like holds the line. So as long as a defender can hold the line and track back, I think we can replace Varan. Why Varan is so important is because of his pace. We don't have, I don't think, like how good he is at tracking. Like we don't have someone of that quality, but we have people who have
Lindelof
those
is
attributes.
slightly slower while tracking back. He's a bit
Yeah.
underconfident that way.
Yeah,
I
and
think.
and and he's not played with Martinez, right? He doesn't know where Martinez likes to hold the line, so he has to like look behind if he's the last guy on side and is he playing someone on side. So there's the chemistry missing, I think. So
Hmm.
like these 50 chances are always gonna go on the opponent side, I think, because somewhere or the other there is some amount of hesitation in our back line. And obviously Varane and Licha have played a whole season together. They have developed the system. They are the ones on whose shoulders this system is built, so they know how to operate that system. So obviously there is a sense of trust in them.
Hmm.
Varane knows
Hmm.
what his job is between the two.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah, that makes
and
sense.
that's why I'm not that frustrated about this game. It's just disappointing. Everything is just negative now. I don't know why. Like we started the game very like we were
Very
really
dominant.
happy how we started. Yeah, we not dominating the ball. We were dominating the flow at least of the game.
Yeah. Yep.
And and after that we go a goal down, and then we see some sort of a fight. Then after the second goal, you see first guy to drop his shoulders was Marcus Rashford.
Hmm. I think a lot of our players. So there was a very interesting thing that the commentator said. Against Nottingham Forest, we could attack to them because they were sitting at their own behind their own line, and they were sitting deep, and we pushed and pushed and got a result out. But we can't really expect that with Brighton, and there has to be a certain variability to our like pushing when we are back behind. And I don't think we have the mentality to do that against a sort of good team like Brighton. I won't call them um, very big or anything, but they are playing very well. But how do we build this like plan B if we are like behind against Liverpool, let's say at the Anfield? How do we avoid the next two goals and maybe also create a mechanism where we can score two more?
I mean, like I was watching an analysis video before the season started,
Hmm.
like people analyzing of about how our new signings will affect our gameplay, and there was Onana and Kim Min Jae and all those rumors, so people were putting them in and trying to find out how Ten Hag was going to play. And one common theme I found out that was like guys were saying that for the our team currently, it is
Hmm.
very easy to frustrate our team by just like putting as many
Passing
people as
about.
possible in the final third, right? You just make big crowd in front of your box, and we struggle. And
I think
so
also you can frustrate our team by just passing about.
yeah,
It's
that's the
just
thing. And and I have a term for this gameplay, like chopstick midfielders. You have those chopstick midfielders who keep poking the guy who has the ball, right? They'll keep throwing the leg in. They'll keep poking that guy. We don't play like that. You see,
yeah.
the only guy I saw who loves to play like this is Hannibal. He just keeps poking the guy who has the possession, right? You try to turn around Hannibal, he'll not let you. He'll keep poking your legs, he'll make you fall down, but he'll take a card, but he'll not let
And
go of that ball, right?
the shocking thing is Scott McTominay was like that 2 years ago under Ollie, and even like
Yeah.
when he was like
And I
very
think
very young
yeah.
under Jose. He was very passionate. He was going into these tackles. Those were not efficiently executed tackles, but they were, how can I say, they were not even like creating anything, but
Yeah, but he keeps poking,
the
right? He
entire
try always tries
yeah,
to get this leg in. And
yeah.
so
I mean, रॉय कीन का वो स्टेटमेंट याद है? आई थिंक स्काई में बोला था कुछ फनी थिंग कि हाउ आर दीज मैन यूनाइटेड प्लेयर्स, शायद लिवरपूल या फिर सिटी के साथ 5-0 हारने के बाद वो बोला था कि the only guy that cared was Hannibal because he was roughing the players up. I think we lack
yeah,
that.
that's a good analysis. Like he roughs them up exactly, the guy in position, and what it does is it
Yeah.
forces the guy to pass, right? It forces the guy to pass. And that's how people destroy Ericsson against us every single time. They just don't give him time. They keep poking at his legs, and maybe he falls down. Once in a blue moon, he manages to turn the ball around them, and then he gets a lot of space, and then he eventually passes Rashford, who either scores or misses it by a mile. मत पता नहीं six मार देता है direct वो. So
Hmm.
that's the only outlet we have. Like midfielders somehow finding ways through these lines and getting it to Rashford, who sometimes I don't know what he even thinks when we are in. Like I think he's been conditioned to go for these goals himself, because in his mind they have always had we have always had an underperforming number nine. We like
Hmm.
I think even Cavani was like, okay, he had a presence at least. He had a presence in the club. We had a comeback with him. So at least people were scared of people like Cavani and Ronaldo, right?
Zlatan.
But you bring in people like Igalo and he does absolutely nothing. You have Martial and people laugh at you when you play him. So that's the kind of
How did
opinion that
Martial
teams
turn
have
into
against
this?
us.
Yeah, you look at his first season, even his second season. A lot of people क्या बोले थे, कि मार्शियल का एक सीजन होता है and हम लोग उसके अगेंस्ट एक कॉम्पिटिटर को लाते हैं, like what happened with Cavani. The season before Cavani came, Martial had a brilliant season. He was probably our highest goal scorer. The COVID season I'm talking about. You remember that season, Unique?
Yeah, yeah. I
I
think it was like 23 goals and assists that season,
23
something
goals
around
only,
that.
I think.
Yeah, yeah,
कुछ वैसे.
something around that.
हाँ. तो
But
उसके पहले ज़्लाटान वाला सीजन में वो 9 उसको उससे हटा दिया, और वो खराब हो गया. मतलब ज़्लाटान के आने के पहले ही वाज अमेजिंग, मतलब लुई वैन गाल वाला सीजन में. बट आफ्टर ज़्लाटान केम ही फेल ऑफ बिकॉज ऑफ ज़्लाटान. फिर वो राइज किया, फिर कवानी आया वो फॉल किया, फिर रोनाल्डो आया वो फॉल किया. अभी उसका राइज ही नहीं हो पा रहा है. मतलब प्लेस लाइक अ टीनेजर ब्रो इन माय ओपिनियन, मार्शियल. आई
and
थिंक
he
वी शुड.
still does. Yeah, I was about to say he still looks like he is not 100% a professional player, right? He makes them like Hoyland makes the mistakes that Martial's making. So obviously we can understand Hoyland making those mistakes, right?
हाँ, वो तो 20 साल का
Because
बंदा है.
we want him to improve, and if he makes them now, it's okay. If he continues to make them like 4 years later, obviously he's going to get slandered too. But I think he's just not up to the level of what Premier League is. And when we sound like snobs, right? When we say this, that Manchester United has a standard, but obviously we do have a standard, and we're not nowhere near the standard right now. Like it's a joke when a Man U fan says that people aren't matching our standards. People say that, oh, Bruno is like he's like chance creation is higher than KDB, but how good is it? How good are the finishers, right?
Hmm.
There's the
Yeah, that
obvious
makes sense.
whole, like he can make all the chances like like we were talking in the Discord, like if this is how our XG is, this is the kind of XG we are going to play at, we'll win the league in XG, right?
Yeah, but
Nobody is
that
scoring as many as
you
us in XG. Maybe Man City, I don't even know.
you win the league with conversions. By football is very much
Yeah.
like marketing. मतलब अगर marketing कभी करेगा, you can have the highest CTR, CTOR जो है, मतलब marketing metric तुम्हारा different. You understand these terms, right? Click through rate, click through open rate, मतलब email तेरा open करके कितना जन
Okay.
click कर रहा है inside. But if they are not converting, then क्या फायदा? Sales नहीं तो generate हो रहा है. तो
Yeah,
I think
we
मतलब
need someone like Elon Musk, right, who gives money for interactions. So maybe we start getting a goal every 10 chances we create,
अच्छा.
and we
हाँ.
save games like that. Maybe then Bruno
और
becomes the like 100
और
million
you
player.
yeah, or you bring Sheikh Mansoor, मतलब Hoyland scores one, give him Bentley. Hoyland scores five, give him two Lambos. ऐसा भी कर सकते हैं. But
I think this is like that's where we're headed, I think, because और क्या करे, और क्या तुमको मोटिवेशन चाहिए भाई? होम क्राउड है, 1-0 है, एक गोल डिसअलाउ हो गया, जो कि ऑब्वियसली तुमने क्या बोलते हैं, you
हम्म,
played that. It's not a set piece, right? It's not a lucky goal you're scoring. Rashford does the dribble on his own. He takes on two defenders. He gets the ball to Hoyland and it goes in. ठीक है भाई, अनलकी, लाइन के बाहर था. Why can't you just keep going? Like we were saying, like we were talking during the match. Like why can't you just keep going? The goal will come, right?
hmm. Yeah, there is a certain like lack of relentlessness that we showed. That is true. मतलब United, तुम City का मैच देखो, even like Arsenal, जो in my opinion are not that great a team to watch. दे आर एटलीस्ट रिलेंटलेस भाई, उन लोग कंटिन्यूअसली अटैक करते हैं। इफ दे आर बिहाइंड, मतलब उन लोग का लास्ट में वो जो बोर्नमत या फिर किसके साथ, वेस्ट हैम, दो दो मैच उन लोग लास्ट में 10-10 सेकंड बाकी था निकाले थे। आई डोंट सी यूनाइटेड डूइंग दैट, टू बी ऑनेस्ट। मतलब उतना है ही नहीं एनर्जी प्लेयर्स में, देयर हेड्स ड्रॉप, देयर शोल्डर्स ड्रॉप, देयर asses drop, and then they stop attacking. It's just frustrating in my opinion. तो हाँ,
Yeah, it, it
क्या ही
it
कर
has to
सकते हैं।
be frustrating, right? Because one
हम्म।
criticism we get for the like the horrid game against Liverpool last year is why didn't you just give up and try to like damage, like it was a damage limitation case, right? They wanted to, people
हम्म।
wanted to know why Ten Hag wanted his players to keep attacking, but that's the kind of training you need, you know. Sometimes you have to keep banging your head on the wall no matter what happens, you know, because you need that attitude to keep trying, because once it gets into your system, once that becomes habit, then obviously, like, there is a belief in some teams in Premier League, like even though they're 2 goals down, people are like, no, these guys can still win, we need to stay
We
focused.
saw
No
it from
one's like that
City
against
and
us.
Spurs today.
Yeah, and
City
no
and
one is like
Spurs.
that against us. And historically we've been that team, right? We've
Yeah,
always come back in the last 15 minutes. People are like so scared of United in the last 30 minutes. But again, like, I don't know what kind of era this is going to be, you know, as much as our manager likes to talk about them.
I mean,
Is this the era where we'll come back from goals, or is this the era where we always try to get that first goal and then hang on to our lives? Because he's always been stressing on the importance of the first goal. We get that in a game, and then still still we are trying to win that game 70 minutes later when the side is 2-1 up, right?
but Unique, तुम करेगा क्या? You look at the 11 players that are playing in a squad, and out of them 4 or 5 which are the Ten Hag signings or like new matlab youth players who are doing well. Until, I feel personally, I might sound very rude, Bruno and Rashford included, matlab after watching this initial start that we have, given Tenag has like 2-3 years of time, I think the only way we are successful is by completely rotating all the players that Ten Hag is, matlab completely shifting all the players that Ten Hag has inherited. Matlab create a squad from scratch, keep Carrington ka matlab youth, and matlab build your squad like that, right? You see what Pep Guardiola did at City, उसका कितना ही players मतलब inherited थे। He sold Nasri, अग्वेरो था
Torre,
इनिशियल, टोरे को हटाया,
he even sold
जाबालेटा,
Silva. He even sold Silva after 2 seasons,
सिल्वा,
I think.
सिल्वा
And they
नासरी।
were, and that was the league winning squad, right? The squad that he inherited.
या
They were scoring
हाय।
freely under Pellegrini also. But still, he wants his own system.
हाँ, तो the entire thing has to go down like this in my opinion for us to be successful, पूरा मतलब culture change करो। I don't care if we finish like, I will obviously care, but I don't care if we finish fifth this season. I think fifth is मतलब standard for us, but कुछ कमेंट्स लेता हूँ पहले। ध्रुव बोल रहा है कि आर यंगस्टर्स विल विद टाइम lose their spirit या motivation to play for the club when they are new to the club, they give their 200%, but with time they just become lazy and lethargic. You can say that, but Eric Ten Hag का भी इसमें थोड़ा सा गलती है, right? We have like sent out a few of our good talents. James Garner, big example, भाई वो डिफेंसिव मिडफील्ड में अच्छा प्रेजेंस बन सकता था if he were nurtured, right?
I think, I think at that point, I'm unsure of how much control Ten Hag had of the academy, because you see Ten Hag making big decisions recently, right? Regarding the
Hmm.
academy, who gets to come to the first team, who doesn't. He's making decisions on Pelistri, Ahmad, and like
Maybe.
Zidane Iqbal gets like moved on from the club. So I think maybe now is when Eric Ten Hag has got the control. of the academy. Maybe he didn't have the control when he was new, like as soon as he came in. That's why we lost a couple of players. But again, it comes down to how much he's backed, right? And of course, United fans will see this result and they'll be like, no, 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 back the manager, give him the players, and let's do this. But the second they see Sancho leaving the club, some of them will be like, maybe not. Maybe Ten Hag is not that good. And I think there has to be some sort of resolution to this like mixture of attitudes that we have. Either you back the manager and we don't care if he sells Hoyland tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
As long as it's Ten Hag's decision, you need to respect it. Or maybe you start questioning everything, right? Maybe you question every single one who's in that squad, or maybe you let Ten Hag do his thing and question the players. But then
Do you?
that again leaves area for like conflicts like we see between Sancho and Ten Hag, where he thinks that the manager is an idiot and he lashes out. And I don't know how to like obviously we can't find good solutions on this. We'll say everything, but I don't think our management can either. That's the thing.
या एग्जैक्टली भाई रिचर्ड आर्नल्ड का तो आज मुंह देख के मेरा माथा गर्म हो गया. सॉरी, इट वाज रिचर्ड आर्नल्ड और जॉन मर्टर टुडे. जॉन मर्टर का मुंह देख के मेरा माथा गर्म हो गया स्टेडियम में. दिस लाइक टमी आउट हिम लाइक करके. Just don't
The
like
only
that guy.
saving grace is that he doesn't have a beer and a hot dog in his hand. Otherwise I'm throwing my remote at the TV. What the hell do you think this game is?
I mean, oh, the thing is though, um एक एक क्वेश्चन था, मैं माथा में भूल गया. Getting old. Yeah, I remember it now. So, do you think Eric Ten Hag has enough stripes on his like coat to tell the board ki back me? I'm going to clear out some players. I'm going to destroy this toxicity at the club. I'm going to like put Dettol on the wounds, and we might lose the next 5 games. But I'm going to make things better in the long run. ये
I
करने
think he
का
does. Like
I certainly
what
feel
would
like
you
he has.
what would you want a new manager coming to United to have in his back pocket, right? What more do you think you want? A new young manager who comes. He's not that old. He's basically a new guy in this system, right? He's been managing Utrecht and Ajax for a couple of years, and
Go
he's
ahead,
suddenly
Eagles,
at United.
spine me.
Yeah, and I don't think he's like maybe when you get Mourinho and like Conte, and even I don't think Conte has much to like celebrate in his career when you compare him to people like Mourinho, Pep, and some of the other
No, no,
that we
he
have. But
has. Bhai, he's
again,
been
he is respected, right?
domestically very successful. Conte.
Yeah, but again, yeah. We say the same thing about PSG, right? And look at how well respected they are. So some of like
At PSG
it
for other
depends on how.
reasons, bro. No.
Yeah,
Yes.
and see, it depends on how deeply you analyze him. Like obviously,
Yeah.
people will say that अरे Conte से तो कम ही है Ten Hag के पास. They'll say this, but Ten Hag has more momentum than Conte right now. Like if you're given the choice, if Tottenham is given the choice between signing like Eric Ten Hag and any other manager, maybe they'll go like, okay, maybe United's not supporting him that much. They'll see the potential and then sign him. Anyone who
टॉटनहम
is
का तो वो भाई वो मैनेजर भाई इतना ओवर
Postecoglou.
हाइप्ड. हो भाई
But again, I don't
पोस्टेकोग्लू.
know how he's doing this. I don't know how he's doing this. He's playing
अरे
really good.
यार.
Maybe it's the Madison guy. I don't know.
अरे भाई,
Maybe
it's
Kane was the problem.
we should not
Richarlison is
comment
scoring
on
goals,
this.
man.
अरे भाई, we should not comment on this. ओली का इनिशियल पर्पल पैच याद है तेरे को? Holy crap. It was 5 times the size of what Postecoglou has done so far. But
Yeah,
you see the fall off by. I think I think it's just a happy atmosphere at Spurs right
yeah.
now, and all of the
But
things are
you never
clicking.
know, right? You never know how that guy is going to turn out. Like
Yeah.
comes from Australia straight to Celtic. I think he was at Celtic, right?
Hmm.
I don't really follow that. He was at Celtic,
भाई.
right?
या सेल्टिक पे था. भाई उन लोग का लास्ट ईयर भी पहला 6 मैच में उन लोग 4 जीता था, 2 ड्रॉ किया था. आई आई डोंट नो भाई उन लोग का क्या है मतलब सिस्टम. नो कमेंट्स ऑन स्पर्स
and
तो.
and and yeah, and we really can't like slag him off before because he beat us, right? And you 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 have we have very less foundation to stand on when it comes to Ange, but he like we say about Tenag, right? Does he have the stripes? I think Ange does too, maybe a little less than Tenag, but again he
भाई
started
एंज
well
क्या ही
enough.
किया है भाई, 5 ही गेम
Yeah,
खेला है किसके साथ
I
किसको
know,
कंपेयर कर रहा है?
but see, he's coming off a league win, right? So obviously you can't count them off.
भाई
But again,
सेल्टिक इन स्कॉटलैंड प्लीज ब्रो.
again, like
It's
I
not
don't
like
like
Sir
to.
Alex is managing Aberdeen right now. But
Yeah, well, yeah, but again, when Sir Alex came to United, I think people were saying stuff like they are saying today. Also, it wasn't that smooth of a transition for us. And
A for Arsenal says Ange is super successful manager everywhere he's been. I think in the last 10 years, Eric Ten Hag has been the best Ajax manager. There's
yeah,
no comparing him with. I think last 10 years he's been the best Dutch league manager. So
yeah,
these are just hypotheticals
and
at the end of
people talk about these influences, right? They say Pep के students देखो क्या कर रहे हैं and Sir
the
Alex
year.
के students क्या कर रहे हैं. Then look at what Ajax players under 10. Look at where players that played in Ajax under 10 are, like where they are right now. Most of them are at United. I like we are not hiding from that. But you have FDJ doing really well. You have the both of
There's a
those
mix
brothers doing
there.
really
Some
well.
are in Saudi also by Ziyech.
Yeah, but
Uh,
like he was at Chelsea, he played the freaking UCL final
hmm.
after that,
Yeah,
So
yeah,
he has raised some of the most talked about people we
yeah.
have in
Hmm.
football right now.
That is true.
So,
Absolutely. That
so
Ajax team which beat Real Madrid 5-2, I think. They lost to Spurs only, the Champions League semi-final, but is one of the best, like most fun to watch, best underdog like
teams, yeah,
stories, I think.
yeah,
And that team
and you
also
have,
lost a Europa League final against us.
yeah, and see, when you talk about stripes, you want to talk about results, and some of the managers all doesn't like they don't have that many cups to show for it, but they play good football, right?
Hmm.
Like you'd look at David Moyes right now, and you'd any like bottom half club will be like sign this guy up, right?
Yeah,
He makes
absolutely.
good decisions, and like he's nothing in comparison to like even Ange. I don't think he's as successful as Ange is, right?
I think
But
David Moyes, when we were children, was a legendary manager. The man used to like dilly dally with clubs like Liverpool and Spurs, which had like significantly larger transfer budgets. That entire team with Baines and Coleman, left back, right back combination, I think that was a very underrated Everton squad, and there was a reason why Sir Alex Ferguson like took him under his boat, right? I think Everton were a fabulous team under David Moyes.
yeah,
It's
and
just
David Moyes is a bit of a 4-4-2 spammer. So like we talked about him before, like
yeah.
I think that's why Saf may have chosen him because he thought maybe if we keep the tactics similar, it's easier for the players to transition. And
Hmm.
maybe like there are minor things also, respect comes into play. So if you like bring a new manager with a new play style after such an influential manager, the players just turn on him. So maybe he
Hmm.
wanted to keep the tactics similar to at least until the time players start trusting Moyes enough to like let him make some adjustments to the play style. But
Hmm.
again, he just didn't work out, right. It was a basic like underperformance issue when we
Yeah.
got him. So I don't
I
know, man.
There was a
Everyone who
big
leaves us
gap also.
suddenly starts playing like God.
Why na culture at the club is rotten to the core, like most YouTubers will say. The thing is, though, it is rotten. It's certainly by my pus argument. If you heard it, कि अगर तेरा पिंपल होगा and you try to burst it, तो pus तो निकलेगा ना. And this is the
Yeah,
pussy phase that we are in right now.
yeah. But भाई उसका दाग भी जिंदगी भर रहता है ना फिर.
यो ऋषि भाई, हाँ नहीं भाई, वो आजकल मेडर्मा लगाने से हट जाएगा.
पता
That
नहीं यार ये
Mederma
सब.
could be Rasmus Hoyland. I am
नहीं
telling
यार,
you.
मेरे को तो ये कतारी में डरमा चाहिए भाई.
नहीं नहीं भाई। अच्छा, इसके बारे में एक दिन और डिबेट करेंगे। आई एम नॉट लाइक फॉर कतार बाय द वे। I think
Okay.
state ownership at Manchester United will be catastrophic.
But
मतलब
is
कि
it really state though? Like, okay, we can talk about
हाँ,
this later, I think. Yeah,
individual slash state ownership.
yeah,
चलो,
yeah.
we'll move on to our next topic of discussion because रात बहुत ज्यादा हो रही है. um, what are your expectations against Bayern? मतलब हम लोग क्या करें? If I were at, if this was a FIFA match right now, or if I were playing Football Manager, or I would be playing like this inherently amazing and मतलब surreal dream कि uh, surreal dream कि I'm managing Manchester United for a day. I would, मतलब वो जो FPL में होता है ना, एक बार में सब ट्रांसफर कर सकते हो एक टाइम के लिए. So if I were to do that, I would have taken out every मतलब inherited player, and I would have played a academy graduate there. So
Hey,
essentially वो टर्किश गोलकीपर को खिलाओ, लेफ्ट बैक में रेगुइलॉन को खिलाओ, सेंटर बैक में खिलाना तो पड़ेगा किसी को भाई, तो सेंटर बैक तो इज आउट ऑफ द
get
क्वेश्चन.
that
राइट.
one guy standing behind these center backs and you're scared, right? You don't want to open that box again.
कौन सा?
कौन सा भाई अपना हगू मगू?
अरे नहीं भाई, वो सब नहीं खिलाना भाई. वो अगेंस्ट बायर्न भाई, आई डोंट नो, वो विल सिट बैक. आई मीन, बट ये बायर्न टीम उतनी
Like
अच्छी
if
नहीं है.
if
आई
if if they play, like we need to have a pact. Like if they are playing Upamecano, then only we'll play Harry Maguire, right?
भाई, उपमकानो
But
ऑलमोस्ट स्कोर्ड
again,
अ गोल यस्टरडे, डिसअलाउ हो गया
वही तो
था.
मैं बोल रहा हूँ, अपना नसीब इतना खराब है ना, दैट गाय विल स्कोर अ हेडर एंड दे विल बी लाइक भाई तुमने ही बोला था इसको खिलाओ.
अभी
I
क्या कर
don't know,
सकते.
like क्या कर सकते, everything is against us currently. We just have to keep on like taking the L's day in day out. But my expectation from Bayern is like भाई एक गोल तो मार के आओ भाई. एक भी गोल नहीं मारा, इतना जर्मनी तक जा रहे हो, एक गोल तो मार के आओ.
आई जस्ट वांट टू सी सम हैप्पीनेस इन द स्क्वाड. ऐसे मतलब देखो, ये बायर्न टीम टू बी ऑनेस्ट उतनी अच्छी नहीं है. This is not the Bayern team that thrashed Barcelona 8-2, और that कैसे मत समझाओ, मतलब हम लोग को भी तो कुत्ता जैसे हराया था. मॉइस का टाइम में 3 गोल खाए थे हम लोग ओल्ड ट्रैफर्ड में. देन भी आई थिंक ड्रू
Yeah,
1-1 एट द एलियंस अरीना. वो विडिच का गोल था शायद.
yeah,
दैट एंटायर मिडफील्ड ऑफ श्वाइनस्टाइगर, और कौन कौन थे भाई, वैन बॉमल बोल के उन लोग के पास एक प्लेयर होता था, वैन बाउटेन. क्या खतरनाक खतरनाक डच प्लेयर्स थे उनके पास. देन देयर
yeah.
वर
I think they had like Sami Khedira also, right?
रॉबरी. रॉबरी.
Don't know, man.
गोमेज
That
अप
that,
फ्रंट.
that was a good send off for like people like Robin and Ribery also felt very good maybe after that. But let's not care about those guys. They win every year. बस एक
हाँ,
गोल मार के आओ भाई. बस एक गोल मार के आओ. बस 1-0 जीते तो माँ कसम फटाके फोड़ूंगा मैं. बट एक गोल तो मारना है भाई.
आई थिंक अगर हम लोग
It's
1-0
Kane,
भी
you
आ रहे,
know.
मैं पटाखे फोड़ूंगा भाई.
या नहीं नहीं यार, मेरे को एक गोल चाहिए यार. नहीं, वी कांट गो टू जर्मनी विद दिस
ओल्ड ट्रैफर्ड में
1
मार
बिलियन
देंगे.
रोस्टर लाइक दे कॉल
अबे यार, ये 1 बिलियन भाई आर्ग्यूमेंट सुन के मेरे को
इट.
घिन आता है ये आर्ग्यूमेंट से. 1 billion. And in what context, I say 1 billion have we spent? We have spent
पता
40 on Fellaini. Count that as well. We
नहीं.
spent 85 on Maguire. 120 यही हो गया तुम्हारा 1 बिलियन का.
that
75 on Sancho. 200 हो गया.
why you, like if we start making a list now, it will honestly start becoming depressing, the kind of like sagas we've had.
भाई सैंचो के लिए हम लोग इतना रोए थे एक साल. We cried for 1 year. There was this entire window, the window before Sancho came, when we finished second. भाई पूरा विंडो हम लोग रहते सैंचो हियर वी गो कब आएगा, सैंचो हियर वी गो कब आएगा. बट डॉर्टमंड इतनी हरामी है, दे आर नॉट लेटिंग सैंचो कम टू आवर क्लब. गेट द बॉय होम. ही इज कमिंग टू द रियल साइड ऑफ मैनचेस्टर, एंड लुक एट हिम नाउ. आई मीन, अबे यार, क्या डिसअपॉइंटिंग. The only good business we have done is bought Angel Di Maria for 52 million, sold him for 57 million. Ed Woodward ka
Yeah. I did
amazing.
we make a profit on Lukaku as well?
Ah, I guess we did. I think we
Yeah,
bought
we
him for
made a profit,
75.
right?
I think
Yeah.
we bought him for 75. We sold him for around that only.
Yeah, 82 I think we sold him or something like that. It was 90 million euros, something like that.
My Chelsea fans क्या comment करे even the mention of 1 billion makes me hyper when तुम लोग 10 billion spend किए हो भाई. बहुत पैसा है तुम लोग के पास. I think Chelsea and Manchester United are like भाई भाई this season. हम लोग का
पता नहीं यार, उन पे भी पोचेटिनो है and he is like the nemesis of Ten Hag. He's killed his dream. I don't know how we play against them, but I think there has to be some vendetta in the air, no? Against
हाँ
Pochettino.
भाई. हाँ भाई. चेल्सी को हरा देंगे. This
पता
Chelsea
नहीं
does
यार
not have.
यार मेरे को मेरे दिमाग के बाहर हो गया अभी ये. Like you
अबे
can't expect
ब्राइटन
performance,
से
right?
हारे हैं, आर्सेनल से हारे और स्पर्स से हारे हैं. We have not lost to Bournemouth or Luton or Burnley or
अरे
anything. मतलब I
but you
हारे
but
हैं
you
but
but today's game, like, it was so depressing. Like, even I think Ten Hag must have think भाई अभी मैं करूँ क्या, क्या करूँ, मैं किसको लाऊं, कौन है मेरे बेंच पे
अगर टेनाक
जो
सैक
आके
हुआ
दो
तो
गोल
किसको
मार
लाएगा
देगा.
उन्हीं. Who do you see realistically replacing? This is a very bad question, I know, but who do you see realistically replacing Tenag? Will it be Julian
I see
Nagelsmann, who
he's
is an
not getting
even
sacked
bigger?
for another year, I think, year
हाँ
or
तो
two.
obviously I don't think he'll get sacked. हम लोग का सेल
Yeah,
होगा
there's Are
and
bro,
then he'll
there's
be
people
back.
discussing, like, if he loses this, like he's lost today's game. People were
हाँ,
asking if he loses this and Bayern, then his job's under consideration. Like I'm like, why would, like, okay, our management is stupid enough to do that, but why would anyone like go through all of this shit before the season and then sack one of the best starters? This manager is the second best starting manager ever, right? Only Pep started better than him in the Premier League. I think there's one or two, 3-4 points difference between
भाई
him and Klopp for
कल
second place.
मेरा एक लिवरपूल फैन के साथ ये लड़ाई हो गया था कि क्लॉप फिनिश्ड 8th in the first season or I think you saw that, right? And
Yeah, and
Ten Hag finished
see,
third.
I was about to like talk to you guys both, but the thing is, Klopp and Ten Hag are very close when it comes to statistics, right? Pep is clearly
Yep.
in first place when it comes to success as a new manager in the league, but Klopp and Ten Hag are very close. And since Klopp has already won the league after he started, so there is
Hmm.
there is a sense of respect for Klopp in the league. So
Hmm.
whenever somebody like looks at the stats and he says, okay, this trend is better than Klopp's,
Hmm.
since Ten Hag doesn't have the league, Champions League, and I think the Super Cup, people are going to like question you, right? How are you
अरे
saying
बट
this? But again,
टाइम
you
कहाँ
just
हुआ
observe
है भाई.
statistics. Yeah,
टाइम
it's
किधर.
like I can understand it.
टाइम तो
Like,
दो. हम लोग का एक सीजन हुआ है, एक सीजन में एक ट्रॉफी, मतलब काराबाओ कप. बट उन लोग का फर्स्ट सीजन में तो वो भी नहीं था. They finished 8th, bro. The thing
yeah, I
is,
like
you give
I
him
understand.
time.
Like, I totally agree. I totally agree to what you're trying to say. But
Give him
again, a
time.
Liverpool fan will not accept this because a Liverpool fan has
हाँ
seen a
बिकॉज वो,
lot with Klopp.
हाँ लास्ट 10 साल वो 4 ट्रॉफी जीता है, मतलब
Yeah,
सब ट्रॉफी एक एक
yeah,
बार करके जीता है. तो
yeah.
हम
And
लोग को
so
भी
it's
10 साल दो. इज
yeah,
माय क्वेश्चन.
yeah,
टेन को भी 10 साल दो, देन विल कंपेयर. बट
yeah. But
इनिशियली
again,
एक
the
साल,
question you asked, if
द
he gets
फर्स्ट ईयर.
sacked,
या.
yeah,
Who do
no,
you see?
I let's hope the management keeps him this year. Like, I will honestly die inside if we sack him before the end of this season. I can't see this happening like even closely. I don't even think this is a question, like at least in my book, whether his job's in danger or not. But
I
if he gets
honestly think
sacked,
तो मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड का कैसे मतलब एल्गोरिथम है सैक होने का. इफ यू लुक एट जोसे मूरिन्यो, ही 4 मैच कंटिन्यूअसली, 3 मैच कंटिन्यूअसली आ रहा था, फिर उसको सैक किया था. 3 प्रीमियर लीग मैच. मतलब दे ओनली केयर अबाउट, मतलब क्वालिफाइंग फॉर द चैंपियंस लीग एंड नॉट रियली competing for it, right? Are bored
yeah,
so that the
he
revenue
was
comes
sacked before the final too, right?
at Spurs.
Yeah.
तो
No, the next game was
then
a final, right?
किसके
I
साथ
don't
फाइनल
remember
था
which
भाई?
final it
नहीं
was.
नहीं नहीं
I
भाई,
think
वो
it was the
स्पर्स में
Europa
था.
final we lost to Sevilla. I think he was sacked before that.
अरे पागल है क्या भाई, बहुत जल्दी उसको साइन किया था, सैक किया था 6 या 7 मैच बाद। आई थिंक वी लॉस्ट 3-1 टू लिवरपूल ओनली। लिंगार्ड स्कोर्ड द गोल फॉर अस। Actually it was 1-1 till the 75th minute or so, and then शकीरी एक गोल मारा था, I remember, for Liverpool, और कोई और एक गोल मारा था. That match
Right.
was Jose Mourinho's last match. फिर Oli lost like 4-5 matches on the trot,
Yeah.
and then we
I
sacked him.
never I really never thought he was a long-term manager at United. I never looked at Oli as someone who'd stay for 10 years. Like
I
when we
backed
signed
Oli
him,
though.
yeah, he was good. He was good. But again, I never like you have those vibes that you get from certain people, and I thought this guy has to be a stopgap, right? We are waiting for someone big, and
And
I
Ten Hag
think
is
we
the
were.
stopgap.
But again, even Ranić was an interim guy. I don't, and it's been a shit show for the past like 4 years at least. We've had bad managers before that, but for the past 4 years, even the management
I
has
think
been
last
gone
year
nuts.
was pretty good though. We can't call last year a shit show. We were pretty decent
Yeah,
last year.
but again, in the grand scheme of things, it's going to be a single season, right? So I don't
No, no,
know, man. But
I
again,
think we can.
If Ten Hag leaves, then who is this type of a manager? Because again, spend billions of
Nagelsmann,
pounds,
people
throw
will say.
these guys
Nagelsmann.
out, get new people.
Nagelsmann,
Bro, I don't
people
like
say.
that guy, man. He's too
Nah,
young,
even
I
I
think.
think he's toxic also, in my opinion.
Yeah. That's the thing. He doesn't come like he'd come across as someone who is like a good person at least. And how the
I
players
actually a good
reacted, like
point.
Manuel Neuer, absolutely having an absolute like
You know,
meltdown under him.
worst case scenario, I don't want this to happen. Matlab, in my wildest dreams, we lose the next 5 games, and matlab, the board has to sack Ten Hag. I will still not sack Ten Hag, but the board has to sack Ten Hag. I would honestly wish for Oli to come back till the end of the season, and we start from scratch
Yeah,
again next
yeah,
season. I would not mind Oli till the end
yeah. Like
of the
like
season.
now if Tena goes and like we are in
Huh.
the market, right?
Huh.
So I think the only promising guy who is at a ladder team who wants to like grow up, get into the big leagues is Xabi Alonso. But
Deserby.
again, Real Madrid fans will have such a big meltdown if that happens, right? My God, those guys
Deserby
will
भी
burn
तो
that.
भाई, Deserby. But
Deserby won't come here. I don't think he. I
I
think
will cry inside the day I see मतलब United play like the way Deserby likes to play. भाई वैसा फुटबॉल देखा ही नहीं है मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड को खेलते
yeah,
कभी.
we never play like with such assurance. We never play with such confidence.
हाँ तो
We always
वैसे प्लेयर्स भी नहीं है हमारे पास, सो डिजर्वी
yeah.
भी फ्लॉप होगा वहां पे.
And De Zerbi has the system behind it, and I think Brighton has proved it. It's not the manager, it's the it's the system behind him. It's the management because वो Potter को से भी like हम कहते हैं ना Ten Hag will extract success from players. Like this club extract success from the managers that join them, right? They have always been promising. They've always been. It's never like Brighton has talent and is not using it. Whenever there's talent at Brighton, it always manages to shine. I don't know what kind of a system they have behind this manager, but
Hmm.
they it
Yeah,
it it
actually.
never felt like Potter left, right? It always felt like Potter
Hmm.
downgraded to Chelsea, and Brighton made it feel like that.
They have a great owner also. Bhai. They have amazing scouts, a great owner. One person I'll be very
Yeah. So
excited.
I don't believe De Zerbi's hype.
I don't
I
believe
still
in
don't
any
believe his hype.
managers. But I don't even believe in Postecoglou's hype. I don't believe in Arteta's hype. Also, by we are Man United
Yeah.
fans. क्या करेंगे वो सब करके? The thing at the end of the day is
Yeah.
the one.
Because
हाँ हाँ बोलो बोलो बोलो.
because De Zerbi genuinely has nothing to show for his talent. Genuinely, he doesn't have anything to show for his talent. And you might say he looks promising, but again, Brighton needs to win something, right? Brighton makes people look good. So the only way, like I respect Dejerby, is him doing what
भाई
Ange did, going to an absolute shit show and like at least
भाई
starting well.
ये deserve भी. I am not talking about the style of football they play, by the way. What Deserby did with Brighton, matlab last season, and what he's doing with Brighton this season is exactly what Moyes did when we were children at Everton. If you look at the big picture, if you forget football philosophy and the way they play, David Moyes made Everton finish in the range of fourth to sixth for a very long period of time, 7 8 years. भाई तो ये इससे क्या होता है डेविड मॉयस को एट द एंड ऑफ द डे क्यों हम लोग लेजेंडरी मैनेजर नहीं बोलते because he has no like trophies to show for it, right? Yes, he won the conference league, and that gave him a lot of matlab, status
Yeah,
appraisals.
it it,
But
it gave him 100 million to spend in the next season.
so Arsenal also gave him like what 20 million for one of
Yeah,
their
that's
box
the
to
thing,
box
right?
midfielders that they have very efficiently replaced with 35 million pounds.
And if you like look at another parallel timeline, right? Let's say he gets McTominay and Maguire in the last window. Do you think they play this well with Maguire and McTominay on the field? I really don't think that. Maybe
नहीं भाई खेल
luckily
लेते.
it's good for him that he didn't get these two players, because again we saw what kind of mentality our players are when you see people like Region doing so well, you know.
Hmm.
So our players are already like have been already been broken
रेगुइलॉन
down.
वो
So
यूनाइटेड के आने के पहले एंज पोस्टेकोग्लू का थोड़ा पॉजिटिवनेस मतलब
yeah, maybe that guy gave him
वेपर
a send off, right? Send off
जा
speech.
मुन्ना जा खेल के आए एक
uh,
साल बोल के
yeah,
अभी वो पेल रहा है वहां पे इवन विथ हैरी केन बाय हैरी केन ओ माय गॉड हैरी केन कैसे इतना
पता
गोल
नहीं यार.
मारता है भाई द थिंग इज क्या मतलब क्या
See,
एक्सपेक्टेशन है
I
इस
think
सीजन
the
से
way
और उन्हें
the thing that you're saying, that maybe Dejerbi plays at United, I think we should give him the chance, because for the first time he will be at a club which is an
no
absolute shit
no
show. It
no
has
no
bad
no
management.
no 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 no
But
man no.
again, he's going to fail. I think he's going to fail at United if he comes.
I think the only Premier League manager I will give a chance to at Manchester United is going to be Thomas Frank, to be very honest. He suits that counter-attacking system like a glove. But what
I
Manchester
think
United
I want a
want to play.
manager, like I want an Eric Ten Hag manager who has a bad mouth, you know, who is
Uh,
like that Antonio Conte last interview, right? Every single day in the
तो वो एरिक
press
टेन हैग हो
conference
जाएगा भाई.
slagging off the
दो
management.
दो तीन मैच और हारने दो हम लोग को एरिक टेन हैग भी स्टार्ट कर देगा. ही इज नॉट
Yeah,
अ
and I
वेरी
want
स्वीट
him to
गाय.
speak up, you know, because the Glazers are extremely reactionary when it comes to reputation, right? They see something
कहाँ
happening
भाई
to the club
सैक कर
and
देंगे.
they no, you saw how share prices drop and they suddenly news. Yeah, we are selling the club, please. So they are so reactionary when it comes to our
नहीं नहीं दे विल
reputation.
नॉट सेल द क्लब. अच्छा ये भी डिस्कस कर ही लेते हैं उन्हीं इफ यू हैव टाइम विल डू दिस टिल
Yeah,
3 AM.
yeah,
तो कतर वर्सेस व्हाट इज लाइक योर आइडियल मतलब ओनरशिप स्ट्रक्चर एट मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड नोबडी इज वाचिंग एक्चुअली अगर कभी देख लिया तो देख लेंगे इफ यू आर
yeah,
फ्री वी कैन हैव दिस डिस्कशन.
yeah. My ideal structure is Qatar coming in
हम्म.
and Sheikh Jassim like being the sole guy who's in charge of the club, and
हम्म.
Eric Ten Hag being the sole guy who's in charge of the players. We appoint
हम्म.
a good director of football who's the sole guy who's in charge of Eric Ten Hag, and we appoint people in CEO and leading positions who are actually capable of doing it single-handedly.
हम्म.
Because the more you like spread this broth around, the more it takes. Like you see how we bid, right? 5 million
Yeah.
bada diya, 8 million bada diya. It's not decisive enough.
भाई.
That's now how deals are done, right?
हम्म.
So let's at least have an authoritarian system for, let's say, 5 years, and let's see how what some kind of authority does to our setup, because there is absolutely no authority in the club right now. कुछ किससे भी डर let's take one example, and I don't know well how well this will fit, but they were going to bring back Greenwood, and I think it's very obvious they were going to integrate him into the team. And
हम्म.
all it took all it took for them to like bail on this decision was a massive outreach from a group of fans. That's
Yeah,
all it took for them to like flip on this decision. Like imagine the amount of changes they must have
in a
made. There's
matter of
money
12
involved in this.
hours.
Yeah, there's money involved in stuff like this, right? And in 12 hours they are like, yeah, we'll integrate him to the squad. No, 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 we'll not. Like who's sitting there? Who's making these decisions? How are you so insecure? I don't understand.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because let's
But
see what authority does to our system for once at least. Because we had some sort of authority
with
before
Martin
the like,
Edwards.
yeah. And let's
But
see, I want to go back to that, right?
ये kind of authority na Martin Edwards का I see, to be very honest. But the first of all, I'll explain my ideal. मतलब, I would want
Yeah,
a non-state actor to own the club. Now, obviously, Sheikh Jassim is also a non-state actor to own a club. Now, that could be Ineos, that could be Petronas, that could be any big company in the world. And I don't want a state to own the club, and I don't want somebody who has like gruesomely close ties to a regime that has been criticized around the world for its like
yeah,
association with a lot of bad groups um,
yeah,
around the world. You look at Nasir Al Khalifi at PSG, similar concept. He blows a lot of money at the club, and some would say he has tried the game of like appointing the right people as well. Galtier, that entire like head of their board that they क्या Italian guy क्या नाम था जो था
yeah.
club में Campos
He's, yeah, yeah. I
हम्म,
was about to say he's pretty well known. Yeah,
उसको भी लाए अभी मतलब I don't know if it's Argentinian or Italian, I could be wrong, but still like PSG is shit when it matters in the big European competitions, right?
yeah.
They
But
might
I think that's what you have to do with things like those. Like you, that's not because they are PSG. We don't expect them to win the Champions League because it's PSG and it's somehow their heritage. No, because they have players like Mbappe, Cavani, Zlatan who have been playing there. So I think what they're doing like now, like what they did in this window, I think it's very smart. They're not taking like these Galactico signings. They're
hmm,
almost rejecting these people, right? They're almost letting every big guy leave the club.
hmm, hmm,
Like,
hmm.
and I think they're trying to become those underrated people that like they're trying to reduce the expectation of the fans, maybe, so that they can for once start building up again. But it took them a lot of years to realize this, right? They
But if
went
you
for this
don't
Real
win
Madrid style.
But if you don't win the platinum trophy, even Lucho will get sacked. So it's this
Yeah,
entire perpetual thing, right? Even with up till Pep Guardiola was the manager at Man City, you finish second, you get sacked at Man City in the Premier League. You get out of the European matlab UCL quarterfinals, which Pellegrini did, and you get sacked. तो दिस एंटायर मतलब भाई पेलेग्रीनी को अगर 10 साल देते तो वो एक चैंपियंस लीग निकाल देता एट मैन सिटी.
yeah.
कम
He
ऑन.
he was also sacked after a slump, I think, right?
Yeah, he came second or third, I think.
No, I think he lost a couple of games and then he went away in the new
अच्छा.
season, I think.
Mancini भी था. He won the league with City.
Yeah. They have had good
So,
managers. It's not like Pep suddenly transformed them, right?
hmm.
But but again, it like you have these two profiles, right? You see two oil clubs. One of them has like come out from the trenches and become like the dominant force in England, and one has been the dominant force in France. I'm not saying PSG has failed in every sense, but again, both
Yeah,
of them have been relatively
PSG were
toothless
nothing
in the
before.
European scene.
PSG were nothing before Qatar.
Yeah,
क्या
and
थे ये
like
लोग?
both of them didn't do well in the European scene. Like obviously City has won the Champions League last year and they are
Hmm.
favorites to win this year too. But again, they didn't win for so many years under Pep.
Hmm. Exactly my point. So वही है सीन मतलब मेरे को
And
I
is
don't
it
mind.
does it have to do with the oil though? Does it have to do with the oil ownership? Like this
Um,
performance in European club competitions for both teams, I think.
I
How
think it
much of
has to
it is
do.
owner's responsibility?
I think it has to do a lot with कैसे मैं समझाऊँ. फाइनेंशियल अकाउंटिंग ट्रिकरी बोल के एक तो चीज है. तू काम करता है तो निक. You work, right?
Yeah,
तो एक सेक्शन ईटीसी का टैक्स फॉर्म आता है at the end of the year, which you have to fill up for reimbursements if you pay tax. That is, you know how
yeah.
to. Now there is a lot of
No,
maneuvering there.
yeah, I haven't, like, I've seen my elders do that, but अभी तक तो नहीं है भाई। मेरा अर्निंग उतना नहीं था पिछले साल। I think I started with a very low package. I didn't file for it.
मतलब इस साल देना पड़ेगा।
Yeah, yeah, I'll do that from
हाँ,
this
तो
year.
उसमें देखना मतलब कितना ट्रिकरी करना पड़ता है टू लाइक कॉल दिस अंडर दिस सेक्शन, क्लेम्स में ये डालना
Yeah,
पड़ेगा,
yeah,
मतलब कैसे भी।
I've heard stuff like that. You can claim some of the tax for, like, government has
हाँ,
some schemes.
हाँ, मतलब तू शर्ट खरीदेगा, खरीदेगा तो तेरा फॉर्मल अटायर अलाउंस में तू क्लेम करेगा एंड ऑल दीज, मतलब थिंग्स। तू टी शर्ट भी खरीदेगा तो उसको एडिटिंग करके तू शर्ट कर देगा उस पे, स्नैपसीड पे। सो देयर
Yeah.
आर लॉट ऑफ स्कीम्स एंड एवरीथिंग, एंड आई थिंक मैन सिटी आर मास्टर्स इन डूइंग दैट। दे आर ऑलमोस्ट गेटिंग कॉट फॉर इट, बट मतलब क्या ही कर सकते हैं, दे आर मास्टर्स इन दोज फाइनेंशियल ट्रिकरी
Yeah, but
काइंड ऑफ
how
सिचुएशंस।
much do you think having an oil ownership affects your performance in Europe? Because these teams are so dominant locally, right? They are always able to get the best players from their league to play for them.
I just know that one oil club has won the Champions League so far, और
Yeah,
कोई नहीं
and
जीता।
maybe it's a curse, like, I don't know, but if Pep
Bayern
wins
and
it again
Liverpool
this
have
year,
12
like, I
each.
mean,
But Bayern and Liverpool have 12 combined,
yeah,
12 or 11.
I don't
AC
know.
Milan has like 7 or 8, 7,
Seven,
I think.
yeah, yeah, they have seven, but
We
like
have
they got
3.
battered today as well. It's been
Actu-
a really bad day for both my clubs.
Oh man, wait. I am also an AC Milan fan when it comes to Italy, by the way. I have the
Okay,
93-94 wala kit also. AC Milan ka mota likha
yeah.
hua.
AC Milan is like in a transitional phase now. Like we are
Yeah.
finally signing some good players. We had an okay set of players. We had good loanies last year,
Hmm.
but yeah, finally we have seen some. Tonali had to do with a lot of that actually. I think that he's taken the bullet for the club,
Hmm.
and he obviously it you can see, he realized from what how people behave. Like he didn't want to leave the club. Obviously, you see
भाई
that.
क्यों भाई, he's Milan through and through. Why will he
Yeah, you
want to
see
play for
how he is
Newcastle?
crying during the Ibrahimovic send off, and you
Hmm.
say, how is this guy playing for Newcastle, right?
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
again, he had to take the bullet, right? It's only 4 years. I think he'll come back after that.
अभी तो लेआओ भी जाने वाला है भाई, लगता है नेक्स्ट सीजन तक।
I don't know because everyone thought he was going to get signed this year. Everyone thought he was going to upgrade, but then he comes out with a
स्पीड,
statement like, "I don't care how many people I want me. I want to stay at Milan." So I don't know. Maybe he is a Milanista too. I don't
maybe he'll go to sign for the MLS to play with speed भाई।
know.
The
I
besties
think
they are।
he's a better left winger than Rashford. That's the thing.
स्पीड,
No, no, no. Liao.
भाई स्पीड भी क्या खेला था, बट चैरिटी मैच में ही वाज
Yeah, that
अमेजिंग
he
इन माय।
speed is a B-Tech Mudrik. Almost an M-Tech Mudrik, bro. You split so well. That's all Mudrik's whole play style. You find a
या
slow winger, you find a slow fullback, and you attack him. That's all he does. He only has pace,
उत्कर्ष
and
बोल
that's
रहा
why
है
he's
कि
struggling in the
डिफेंसिव
Premier League.
पोजीशन एसी मिलान का उत्कर्ष सिंह, क्या
Yeah,
कर
well,
सकते हैं।
we lost our disruptor, bro, this year. Obviously, our backline was going to get exposed now that we don't
और
have Tonali.
कियर वियर भी तो बहुत बूढ़े हो रहे हैं, एंड टोमोरी इज जस्ट इनकंसिस्टेंट इन माय ओपिनियन। अच्छा प्लेयर नहीं लगता मेरे को टोमोरी उतना।
Yeah, but at least I had this opinion ever since Ten Hag came into the club, right? AC Milan plays 4-2-3-1 better than Man United.
हम्म।
Like even when Tonali was at the club, and I don't know how much like we will be able to bounce back because like losing CDMs and disruptors is a big deal,
भाई
right?
उसके लिए फ्रेंकी चाहिए था ना टेनाक को।
अरे यार मेरे को नहीं पसंद यार वो. Like you imagine how Casemiro gets thrown about by PL players and you put Frankie there. Is he really that physical? You know
फ्रेंकी
him,
घुमा
you know
देगा,
his
ये
weakness.
घुमा देगा, तुम आएगा
अरे
उसको
see,
अटैक करेगा,
you
ही विल फ्लिप.
you look at Bruno and you know that physical players are going to make him turn him into a ghost. You just look at his physicality and you know he's going to get dominated. And always felt like that for De Jong. People get destroyed physically in the Premier League, and it would have been a big shift for him also playing such a pivotal role because he's been 10x like creator for a long time in Ajax also.
Hmm.
So obviously Ten Hag wants him to be the creator here as well, but I
Hmm.
don't know, man. Maybe these Spanish leagues are like people love to settle there. I don't know why.
Hmm.
You have got
अच्छा.
Gundogan going there, Marcus Alonso and stuff
अच्छा.
like
अच्छा.
that.
Hmm. या मेक सेंस. बट एक सिचुएशन में ऐसा देता हूँ तुमको कि सर जिम रैटक्लिफ का हो गया, मतलब ही इज गोइंग टू टेक ओवर मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड. Not going to buy 100% of the club. He'll buy the 69% that the Glazers own. He will also buy not 69%, I mean 65%, और दो परसेंट, मतलब दो नहीं, शायद 22% है, for Avram and Joel, who like apparently are the two brothers that don't want to sell Manchester United, and the other 4 or 5 have
Yeah.
agreed. तो वो 22% को तुम कुर्बान करने के लिए रेडी हो क्या, मतलब सर जिम रैटक्लिफ अगर आया तो?
As long as they don't have voting rights. That's the thing. I don't want them
But they
to
will
I
have
want them
voting rights.
yeah. It's hard in that case, I don't want to have to deal with them at all. You want money, you get money. That's it. You don't get anything else.
Hmm.
If you were that interested in football, like we would have seen it by now. Okay, so don't like be these posers like, oh, we're the two guys who are doing good for the club. Like just get out of it here, right?
They
I
are
don't even
interested
want to
in
see
money,
them
na.
anymore.
That's why they don't want to get out
No,
of it.
but they like to pose, right? Like we love football so
हाँ तो
much and we
वही
want to
तो,
keep the
कुछ तो
club.
करना पड़ेगा, कुछ तो करना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो दे आर गोइंग टू गेट मॉल्ड. कोई मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड फैन फ्लोरिडा जाके उन लोग के घर पे मोलोटोव कॉकटेल मार देगा कभी, अगर ये सब नहीं करेगा तो. एंड वी आर दिस क्लोज टू डूइंग दैट भाई, उन
Yeah,
लोग के
that's
छापड़
that's
वापड़
what I
मार
was
देंगे.
about to say. Like they are playing with fire, and I don't think they realize the repercussions of
कोई
behaving
छापड़ वापड़
the way
मार
they are.
देगा, कोई जूता वूता फेंक देगा भाई, मैं बोल रहा हूँ. अगर ये
Yeah,
ये सीजन भी पार हो गया, you know the 1958 group, right? मतलब of United
yeah, yeah,
fans,
yeah.
उन लोग तो
They did that
मतलब they did that क्या.
protest, right? We had two
Hmm.
protests
मतलब
recently.
they are
I think.
a group of Manchester United fans, that are closely associated with this club called United Football Club of Manchester. Also, by the way, have you heard of this football club?
No, I don't know this club. I've
They
I've
are a
heard
non.
that some of the fans like branched off and made their own club when like there was a
It's
conflict in the
called
past.
United. It's called United Club of Manchester.
Okay.
United Football Club of Manchester. They play non-league football, but they are apparently the flag bearers right now of the entire fandom scene at Manchester United. But the thing is that the 1958 matlab has started getting vocal about their protests, matlab online में. They were this group that offline में बहुत banners raise करते थे, मतलब mega store they block, but online they have become absolutely crazy right now.
Yeah,
उन लोग Stretford
and
Paddock में आ गए थे.
channels like the Stratford Paddock and United Stand have started promoting these protests as well.
Stretford Paddock, and that's why
Yeah.
I like them more than United Stand in my opinion. मतलब मेरे को एकदम नहीं पसंद United Stand देखना अभी.
Yeah, he gets a little whiny, I think, when stuff doesn't go his way. And I think there's a little bit of like uh, pride
Why?
in the way he talks about who he is. So I don't really like, sometimes
The
don't like Mark
OG like
Goldbridge's
Manchester,
opinion.
yeah,
Yeah.
the OG channel is Stretford Paddock though. They were full time
Yeah.
Devils. But the OG Manchester United commentators, in my opinion, are Stephen Howson, Adam McCullough, and all these people, not your United Tray and United Plug on Twitter. भाई ये तो ट्विटर यूनाइटेड प्लग को मैं पहले ब्लॉक करता हूँ सबसे पहले, म्यूट कर दिया हूँ अभी करंटली. आई डोंट वांट देयर फेक न्यूज एनी मोर अबाउट एनीथिंग. दिस जेम्स
No,
डकर बोल के एक तो टेलीग्राफ का रिपोर्टर है, who is apparently very close to
I
the
know.
to the sale process. Then there is माइक कीगन बोल के एक तो है, और एक तो
Ah,
गधा. हो भाई, आई have no regard for them. So I'll end this stream by saying, matlab I work at a company where my boss is American. Um, his name is Nick Einstein. मेरे को actually insider information आया था. So Nick Einstein का brother-in-law is actually working at Rain in New York. ठीक है?
okay.
And the Rain Bank are the people that are hosting this entire Manchester United sale process. तो वो बंदा मेरे को कल कॉल पे बोलता है, ही नोज दैट आई एम अ यूनाइटेड फैन, निक. सो ही
Yeah.
सेज कि माय ब्रदर जस्ट कैंसल्ड देयर एंटायर, मतलब देयर इज अ द हॉलिडे सीजन इज कमिंग इन द यूएस बाय द वे.
Okay.
सो
Okay.
बहुत सारा मतलब चीज है. Jewish also, so there are a lot of like festivities that they have to follow right now. And his
Okay.
brother apparently cancelled their trip because of the M&A activity, the merger and acquisition activity that is going on at Manchester United. So a lot of like Rain bankers are flying to Manchester as we speak
Okay.
to like discuss certain things with the
I
CEO and
think there's
everything.
a falling out between Rain and the Glazers too, right? There's some frustration on their
Yeah,
indecisiveness, like
that
people
is
were
what
reporting.
like came across, because I mean, there was one report that the Glazers are playing a very patient game, and according to a lot of
It's not
reports,
patient. They are being greedy. People just don't want to like slander them in public, but they are being stupid. That's the thing. They're not being patient at all. They want to get 10. Who the hell pays 10 billion for Manchester United? I don't understand.
वो घटिया मतलब स्टेटमेंट निकालने के लिए आई थिंक दिल बी हैप्पी विद 6, but you can't
Yeah.
expect 6 billion for a asset that costs 3.2 to 3.5 billion.
But they make these moves and they confuse people. Like before the World Cup, Avram goes to Qatar twice, and people start talking
भाई
like maybe
कुछ
there's
दिन पहले ही was in Sheikh
interest.
Jassim's hotel in Manchester.
Yeah,
Avram.
and they come out and like you see these things happening, and then on the other side you hear stuff like Glazers are trying to convince Ineos to give them voting rights so they can finish the sale and that they can accept the rest of the deal. And I'm like, bro, where are we headed? Like, how far can you make this split? It's like they're playing both sides, and it's very frustrating.
I think the Glazers um, are closer to Sheikh, I mean, sorry, Sir Jim, with the entire Qualcomm shirt deal also. I think Qualcomm have very close ties with Ineos, matlab at least their sports franchises that they own. And matlab that 5 year commitment that they are going to have next year is pretty indicative of the fact that they are talking to Sir Jim about something. I don't mind. Sir Jim का plan जो है ना initially is to keep the Glazers and मतलब slowly buy them out. अगर 1.5 साल और 2 साल बाद he can guarantee कि Glazers निकलेंगे, and I think we should trust someone. We haven't trusted anybody. मतलब our entire narrative is, what if Sir Jim turns out to be like them? But
Yeah, and my biggest fear with Sir Jim is what if he's the John Murtaugh of the Ineos group, right? What if he's that guy that we think is in power, but he actually isn't, and the Ineos groups now some like retroactively starts making decisions for United once they see how the club is going. I don't want power struggles again. That's why I want one single guy to own the club.
प्रो बट दैट एंटायर मतलब मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड का भी तो ट्रेडिशनली ओनरशिप वही था ना अंडर मार्टिन एडवर्ड्स. देयर वाज दिस एंटायर मतलब there was a company that essentially took charge of that thing, right? तो क्या ही कर सकते हैं. दैट इज हाउ इट वर्क्स विथ लाइक एक्सपेंसिव पीपल अराउंड द वर्ल्ड. अगर अभी टिम कुक If he bids for Manchester United,
Yeah,
of course Apple will have a say in it. Matlab, he's an Apple employee,
yeah, yeah.
but
I don't know,
yeah,
man. Why
and
doesn't
matlab,
Elon just come in and buy? I don't understand.
भाई घटिया हो जाएगा क्लब हमारा, ईलॉन अगर आ गया तो. But initially he'll fire everybody. So
Yeah,
that way, that way we will be Gucci. तो
yeah.
बहुत
Maybe Sheikh
डिस्कस हो गया.
Jassim buys Elon, and then he makes Elon buy the club.
I don't think Sheikh Jassim has that kind of money also, भाई.
पता नहीं
I'll
यार,
be
इन लोग का
very
सब छुपा होता है.
I'll be very happy if Sheikh Jassim comes. I'll be very happy if Sir Jim comes. I just want the Glazers out of my club. I just don't care. I will be very happy if Mukesh Ambani decides to buy 100% of Manchester United.
Yeah.
मेरे
Like
को
we are just
ग्लेजर्स
going
बाहर
through
चाहिए.
we are going through phases of grief right now, you know. We've been through denial, we've been through frustration, and now it's just depressing.
चलो इस खुशी में let's not ruin the rest of our Saturday night.
Yeah.
Bye
I
bye.
guess I
I
have
guess
to
nobody's
like
watching.
travel tomorrow, and yeah, I
हाँ.
can't sleep honestly. So I saw you were streaming and you sent me the message. Thank you for calling me, by the way.
No worries, bro.
And
Absolutely. I will add your Elon Musk आते ही खत्म United Utkarsh says. हाँ. He's been watching the stream religiously by for 3 hours. Thank you, Utkarsh. You're probably the only member watcher over here.
you know,
Thank you.
Utkarsh bhai is there on the Discord too. I mean, he's really active.
Hmm. नहीं मेरा एक्टिविटी बंद होगा भाई. I can't take it anymore.
Log off.
Oh,
Because Shantanu and Ayan came back, bro. I was like, you have to thank Manchester United for bringing Ayan back for one day.
I don't see any Discord on my phone right now. I am not. I can't take it by matlab, it's like you have a child and everybody's trying to kick it, and I retaliate
Yeah,
and I say something, then it's very bad. But
yeah,
the thing is, ठीक है, चलता है. I still love them all, but
yeah. It's the
I
club, you know.
unfortunately, I
You love the
unfortunately love
club too
Manchester
much.
United. Yeah,
Yeah.
I unfortunately love Manchester United too much. चलो, bye guys. मेरा phone number leak मत करना please. किसी के साथ भी leak.
No, no.
Bye bye.
Good
Bye
night.
guys.
Bye.
Good night. Bye.